Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Sean Kennedy from the Massachusetts eHealth Institute, and I want to welcome you today to our webinar, The Quick Guide to Using Webmail. Let me start by just doing a quick introduction to MeHI, and I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for this webinar. To start, MeHI, for those of you who are not familiar with us, we are a division of the Massachusetts Technology Collaborative. We are which is a public economic development agency. MeHI is essentially the state-designated agency for coordinating healthcare innovation, technology, and effectiveness, accelerating the adoption of health information technologies, promoting health IT to improve the safety, quality, and efficiency of healthcare in Massachusetts, and advancing the dissemination of electronic health records in all healthcare provider settings. We like to think of ourselves as that go-to resource for all things health IT. So with us today, we've got a great group of people here to share with you the HIway Webmail and to share their experience and do an overview of Webmail and also provide you a demonstration. And with me today are MeHI Athioli. He is a senior consultant at the Massachusetts eHealth Collaborative, and then Ryan Thomas, who is the lead service manager for MeHI operations. For today's presentation, we're going to start out with this introduction, and I'm going to turn it over to MeHI to go ahead and give to walk through his portion of the slides and then do a demonstration. All right, thank you. And with MeHI, with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Hey, Sean. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the MeHI Webmail user guide. So today, as Sean had mentioned, we're going to go through how we're going to use the MeHI Webmail services and very basic functions of how we're going to log in, how we're going to send message, receive message, and what are some of the key functions that all of our users can take benefit of using the MeHI Webmail. So we have a brief presentation goals, as I just indicated. We'll learn about the purpose of the webmail, how we use it, and one of the other important functions that we always have been asked several times during our outreach was that how do you access the direct address? How can I see who are the other people that I can send communications to? And also how I can actually look for some of the other organizations' direct addresses or the departmental direct addresses or provider direct address. And before we dive right into the webmail itself, for those of you who are here participating in this web session for the first time, just wanted to give you a brief overview of what MeHI program itself is. As you all might have heard so far, it's a secure health information exchange network. It's operated by Massachusetts EOHHS office, and it's very closely guided by a very group of smart organizations and who have been involved in this technology for over several years. And it's the HIT Council, and we report to them on a monthly basis, and we take very significant advices from them to make sure that the services that we provide are in line with the community's goals. As we present here, the very fundamental responsibility of MeHI is to improve the care quality and reduce costs, and in turn improve the patient outcomes. MeHI progress report. So I just wanted to give, again, we've been on this program for over a couple of years now, and I just wanted everybody to be aware of how many constituents we have and what kind of transactions are we seeing ever since the golden spike. So we have closely 300 plus, actually 301, just as per my report this morning. We have 301 participants that are signed up for MeHI, out of which 50 plus odd organizations are actively transacting today, who constitute about close to 5 million transactions ever since the golden spike. And on a regular monthly basis, we see actually about 550,000 transactions per month. So it's a pretty significant growth. We have grown over the years steadily, which I'll show in the very next slide here. So this is a 13-month transaction activity. As you can see, we have grown steadily ever since November 2013, and we are now at 655, almost 655, 37. So it's a pretty good usage, and most of this is coming from those 50-plus customers that are currently actively transacting. We're now going to cover right into the various types of connections that MeHI provides. Although Webmail is an option, we do have other methodologies and other means of connecting to HIway. That's what is illustrated here. One of the primary, which is preferred by some of our advanced EMRs and other organizations, is having direct connectivity from the EHR with utilizing some of the programmatic technologies between the vendor and the HIway technology team itself. And we also have an interim solution, or it's not I'm calling it more an interim in the basis of, depending on the limitations of the constituent, we provide an option called land uplands, where the software is residing within this one use server that enables the constituents to send and receive communications with other participants on the HIway itself. And the third, but not the least, is a Webmail, a very simple, direct address-based communication for users who can simply log in and send secure messaging, which they may not be able to do today using their regular mailboxes. And the fourth one is also for for those who have already been a member of other HISP organizations. For those of you who don't know, HISP is a health information service provider. Basically, as you hear in the news today, there are several private HISP HIE organizations that are floated in the state and who charge per transaction or who charge based on your agreement with them. And we also enable our customers to utilize those private HISP connectivities to connect to MeHI. So it's a very broad model where we do not restrict participants, but we provide them all possible means of connecting to enable a very secure communication. So coming back to the main purpose of today's discussion, so Webmail, we're going to dive into the Webmail portion of connectivity in a more detailed way, and we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons as well as the individual utilization itself. As the slide itself is pretty obvious here. It's a browser-based secure email service. All you need is a internet connection with a web browser like a Firefox or a Chrome or Internet Explorer, and you'll be given an URL and you'll be able to log in just like your Yahoo or Gmail or any of your exchange that has web outlook today. So it's very simple to use, very minimal training requirement for any of the office staff. You do not need any hardware, and we will be able to get you onboarded in a very short span of time. As to any option, there is also a couple of disadvantages here. The one especially being it's a manual process, so it's not a systemic way of interacting, but you can log in manually and you can upload or download information from the Webmail itself. And that's about it, and we strongly recommend this today for those participants who do not have a EHR or who do not have a sophisticated IT services or systems within their office setting today, but would like to send and receive communication in a secure way. Then Webmail is the right way to do it. It's a very for a small amount of fee. We'll also learn about that in the subsequent slides. So over the next 15 minutes, what I'll do is I'll walk you through the screenshots of how a Webmail looks like. And then we'll also do a live demonstration of getting into the mailbox and exchanging communication with my colleague Ryan, who is also on the line today. Okay. So this is a URL as I mentioned. So as you can see, and then you have the user ID and the login box where you type in. It's a password that is secured, and it also requires changing based on the policy. The next view is a default view. As soon as you log in, it takes you to the inbox, and I clicked on one of the messages that I received on 4th, and as you can see, it's a simple CCD message that was sent over to my mailbox. And as soon as I click on that XML, it is opened in the mailbox, within the mailbox itself, in a human-readable format. So, which I'll demonstrate again. As you can see, if you scroll through it, you'll see all of the 16 different sections that typically come on a CCD. And here is a view of how a mail looks like when you're trying to send a message. So this happens when you click on New Mailbox, or New Message, sorry. Here are some other options. So to set, if in case you are out of office, you could do those settings here. And the other good thing is the mailbox also provides you with the ability to organize the messages that you receive into their own folders. So you can click on Add New Folder. So for example, if you have multiple users that are accessing this mailbox, then you can create a folder for each of you, and then as you process information, depending on how you define your workflow, you can organize them into their own folder so you don't get confused on step on each other. Here is an example of how you look up for a direct address when you are trying to send a new message to any of the existing HIway participants. And in order to last month, actually, we did I think it was last month, we did a provider directory webinar similar to this one, and we did talk about how what are some of the steps that the constituents need to do to get a direct address populated into the MeHI, and that becomes the source for this lookup. So here is an example where I typed in a person's name, Levin, and it popped up all of the possible combinations of that name. And this is another view of how you look up for a provider direct address. In case you want to do a more sophisticated search, you can also click on the search button, and it brings up a little pop-up on the side with more details about each of the direct addresses that are matching the input criteria. The right here, which, as I mentioned earlier, so when you want to populate a webmail or a user into the MeHI directory, these are some of the details that you need to be aware of. What is the domain name, and what kind of an address do you want to populate so the other participants of HIway can see it. So here are a few examples of how an address would look like. So here is an example of how you would log into a web mailbox. So I have the URL ready to go. I'm going to sign in with my user ID and password. There it is. So as you can see, by default, it goes to the first message in the inbox, and you can also see when was the last time you have logged in. And on the left, where I have my mouse pointed, you can see the direct address that corresponds to me. And you can also see right below it all of the folders that are available. And here is an example of a folder that was created by me using Create New Folder. And here is the inbox with all the list of the messages that I've received so far. And here's the body of the mail that you can see. And on the top right, you can see some of the other help functions and other functions that you can utilize. So on the top right-hand corner, you can see how to forward, if you want to move the message to a folder or if you want to delete the folder. So these are some basic icons that you can see. This is one of the messages that I just received this morning from another test mailbox right here. And now I'm going to open a message that contains an attachment. So here is an email that I received from one of my colleagues here. It's an XDM file which was generated from another system containing an XML or a CCD about a patient. This is one more example of the similar stuff here. So these two came as an attachments to me. If I want to read the patient CCD, I just click on it, and then it populates right there. And this is how a CCD would look like, a human readable CCD. As you can see, in these sections, we're not doing any specific action there. All it is rendering whatever information has been sent over by the other mailbox or other system using the ccd.xml. And as you can see, it shows all of the sections in a nice reading format so you can make necessary decisions. And in case if you want to download and file it for your reasons, you can click on the download button. You can download as a PDF, or you can also take a printout and show you, and save it for your records. So here, I'm going to go ahead and do a save as. So your download XML, and I'm going to save it. Save it into my test here. That's it. So it's gonna. So for those of you, if you would like to reprocess that XML, you would be able to actually download as XML and reprocess it, or you can see it within our Webmail as it is. And the other function I want to show you is about how to create a folder. On the top left, at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see Create Folder. Click on that plus button, and then it asks me, so test new. And you can say where you want to create it, whether you want to create it in the inbox or here or at what level. So I typically select the parent folder. I go ahead and do it, and then here it comes test new and CCD. So what I want to try right now, okay, there you go. So thank you, Ryan. Ryan just sent me a message here. You can see your testing demo. Before I go ahead and I hope you all are able to see, I received a brand new message here. Before I go ahead and click on that, I also wanted to show you one more thing. If I go into my regular Outlook mailbox, and if I see what I just received recently, right here, see this? It says I got a notification saying, oh, MeHI notification. Somebody has sent an email. So basically it says a new, I hope you can read it. A new secure email has been delivered to your outreach mailbox. Now, I want you to pay attention to two things here. One, if you notice the email address here, the direct address, it says outreach.demo@direct.outreachdemo.masshiway.net. So that's the mailbox that was sent to from another direct address called testing1.cmipa. If you notice, it doesn't have my name, Murali.Athuluri, but I got a notification to my personal office mailbox saying that I would have received an email, and this is the place we go to. So as you can see, this is an example of a typical shared or group email box, meaning a single mailbox by the address outreach.demo is shared by multiple users, and we have a team of people on my side, and we monitor this mailbox. So, and I also get a notification. That's an simple example of how a shared mailbox works. So when a user wants to send a message, they send it to outreach.demo@direct.outreachdemo. But because I happen to be one of the users of this mailbox, I log in with my own credentials, but I'm logging into that same mailbox. So, and I also have my another colleague who has credentials and login access to this same mailbox, but they log in with their own ID and password, and they'll be able to see the same message. So in a typical office setting, if a user wants to utilize depending on their shift, a person X, or in the morning shift we have John who is monitoring the mailbox, they can log in with his credentials and check the mails, and I got a CCD, okay, I acted upon it, and I notified my PCP, notified my doctor whatever I need to, oh, I'm done, and now I can just simply move it to and file it into the folder. So that way it's gone from this workflow. And let's say I leave at 3 o'clock today, and then 4 o'clock I get a message, and then a new person, Joe, logs in, and they can say, oh yeah, these are the outstanding messages that we need to process, and they can act upon it, and then once they're done, they can file it away and saying, oh yeah, this is where I've done it, and I can just move it. So that's a typical example of how you would use an inbox. I'm going to go ahead and do a send a test message. First, why don't we do this? Why don't we reply to this message right here? Click reply. And if I want to attach a file, I can browse and I can attach here. I can attach any file that I want right here. And I can go into sent. So here is the sent message. Ryan, can you confirm if you got the message?
It just came through.
Thank you. So that's how you do send. And if I were to send a brand new message, I click on the new button right here. And I want to send it to myself. Let's see. There you go. Type outreach. Got it. And I want to send it to also Ryan. Here it is, testing one. Got it. Okay. Ryan, did you get that? There it is.
Yep.
So as you can see at the bottom, I don't know how many of you can see here, I got my email notification pop-up. It says, because I included myself and I got a notification. So that's how simple it is when you send a new message. And some of the other functions that I want to show you is at the bottom left hand, you can also see settings. This is how you would change. If you want, you can put rules. You can put rules saying if I ever receive a message from so-and-so person, or if my subject contains so-and-so, you can define those rules and let the message directly go to that particular folder. So you can create those. And if there are frequent users that you contact, you can create a groups of those using this add group function. Right here, you can see, and you can save it. So that's some basic things that you could do. And if you really think, oh yeah, I need to learn a little bit more about how this function works and any of the features work here, you can click on the help menu. And this is a very robust and sophisticated help where you can learn a lot about how it works. So as you can see, and let's go ahead and read about how a shared mailbox works. Right there. So So as you can see, here is an example of how a shared mailbox works. It gives you a detailed explanation, and you can also see what kind of functions you can do and all those things. And for those of you who are interested in shared mailbox, I can tell you that because there are three or more than one person accessing the same mailbox, our system does track who logged in, who acted upon the message, and we audit log everything into the system. So at any point of time, if we have to go back and retrieve that, we'll be able to do so. That's a help. And if I want to see about my profile, I think, yeah, that's about it. I'm actually trying to see here what else. Oh. I think that's about it. I've covered pretty much everything, and these are all like adjustable tabs that you could see here. If you don't like, you can just move them the way you want, and you'll be able to do most of the work right here. Ryan, is there anything else you would like to add?
Just from a mailbox perspective, we can, just to reiterate some of the things, we can set up either individual mailboxes, departmental mailboxes. We've set up one mailbox for individual organizations depending on workflow as well. So, mailboxes can be used to fit the needs of your organization. We can accomplish many different use cases with Webmail, and a lot of folks, just to further expand on some of Murley's points from before, Webmail accounts we also see are used a lot in interim methods. So as folks are getting their direct connection set up and their LANs configured to be able to communicate over the HIway, we've oftentimes seen folks go with Webmail as an interim option, and then once they get their other connection up and moving, we're able to then deactivate the mailbox and have them continue using their permanent use case. So don't think of Webmail as the end-all be-all. It's certainly a great tool that can be used for all different types of organizations. Some people use them as the sole organization. Right now we have a lot of folks that are using them for receiving messages from larger organizations, and are in the works to move to other connection methods. So it's certainly a viable option for small organizations that want to use this on a permanent basis. It's also a good option for other organizations that are have a timeline that they need to meet for connecting to the HIway, but can connect as this in an interim fashion.
So one other function that I just thought is like searching for inboxes. Like, so if you have a message, so here you can just type the word that you want to search for, and let's say test, then it'll come through that. So those are some of the things you can do.
And in the current state, some of the things that we can also do is, everybody who joins the HIway will have a dedicated account manager, and as they're going through their implementation process, we'll also have a service manager, and the service managers will be able to help you with any kind of configuration changes on your side, as well as the account managers. So adding people to a mailbox, changing passwords, prompting those changes, and also helping with adding the notifications to the mailbox. So that all happens during the implementation process, and if situations change down the road where you need to add more people, deactivate people, go through that process, we're happy to help you reach those goals.
So, so that brings us. So, I'm sure most of you are very happy to see the Webmail, how it works. So, if you want to sign up, and I'm sure the very next question we have is, how much does it cost me to do that, right? So, here is a rate card that we have. The same is also listed on our website. You can see it's a very, very nominal fee for a kind of service that we have, and when I compare this to any of our existing mail services today out there in the world, it's just $60 per mailbox, and this is per annum. It's not even per month. It's per annum. So across the tiers. So and each tier is basically is nothing but the size of your organization. And for those with 1 or 2 physicians, it's still $60 per mailbox. So as you can see here. So anytime you want to contact us, we'll be glad to help you out. So here are some of our FAQs. So can I access webmail from anywhere? Yes, absolutely. You can, as long as you have an internet connection, you'll be good. Ryan?
Yeah, and there's just one update that I have to the second one, which is the browser limitation. So the supported browsers for webmail are Firefox, Safari, and Internet Explorer versions 8, 9, and 10. Currently, Chrome is not supported, so we need to just update that.
And the other very fundamental one that we kept asking is how do I set up a shared web mailbox? And so if you are using mailbox for multiple users, all you have to do is mention that while requesting it, and we'll be able to set up one direct address with more than one user login.
Yeah, and from a process from the onboarding standpoint, as we go through the onboarding process and we go to set up a webmail account, users will organizations will be asked to fill out an organizational spreadsheet, and they'll be asked to fill out a provider directory spreadsheet. On that provider directory spreadsheet, it asks questions about webmail. It'll ask whether you want it as a shared mailbox, should that user be added to the provider directory, and so on and so forth. So that's where, from a definition standpoint, aside from just letting us know, we also have that written in stone. So when we do the upload of it, it will create a shared mailbox.
And I can actually go ahead and show you the provider directory Excel as well. Here is our contact of who you need to. You can reach out to me or any of our colleagues, Jim and Len. Here are our direct cell phone numbers. You can call us anytime. Or if you would like to help yourself to learn more about our services, you can go to MassHiway.net website, or you can also leave us a message at the general mailbox, and we'll be able to get back to you.
Well, that was wonderful. Thank you guys both for sharing that really amazing presentation on webmail and the HIway.